I'm about life-transforming conversations that break cycles, strategic conversations that speaks with authenticity, integrity, and love. I'm about unlocking the fullness of God's outpouring here on earth into the broken parts of society. I give kingdom shape into today's culture to help shift the paradigm into a realm in Christ. Welcome to Level Up Show. My name is Priscilla. Please join my conversations with the ladies as we give shape to culture. According to the research, singleness sometimes is seen as a swinging, no strings attached, carefree lifestyle. For many singles, nothing could be further from the truth. In our society, people walk in pairs. If you are alone, you are seen as a misfit, an oddball, an embarrassment to friends that are married who don't always trust you and aren't always sure how or whether to include you in their activities. Plagued by loneliness, insecurity, low self-esteem, and sometimes rejection, singles face frequent reminders that they are out of step with society. Today, I have incredible ladies who are going to scrutinize the topic of singleness. Welcome to Level Up Show. This is me, Priscilla Matebula. Let's go inside as the ladies explore this incredible topic. Ladies, how are you all doing?
Well, thank you.
And you're looking beautiful.
Thank you too.
Today we have a very interesting topic in this beautiful weather.
Yeah.
But you're looking stunning, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I am moved by this topic so much because Paul elevates a single life as a way of giving undivided attention to Christ, And he speaks about the freedom of financial pressures and responsibilities that you find in marriage. But at the same time, the singles are still wondering, who am I going to get married to? Am I fitting in the society? And it's issues that they go through. Sometimes they feel there's a feeling of inadequacy, So I want to know that, ladies, what can you say about singleness? What is to be successfully single? And is there such a thing as being successfully single?
Oh, absolutely. I believe there is such a thing as being successfully single.
Wonderful.
I think for me it starts with self-development. I think that's a huge part where in your journey, in your singleness, I think you can really take it upon yourself to make sure that you are developing yourself, you empowering yourself, whether that's through education or personal development, getting a coach, or just surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, friends that will develop you and elevate you. So for me, definitely that's a priority for me. And of course, spiritual empowerment. I mean, that's quite important, that you are in the Word. You're absolutely not compromising with that growth, because it trickles down into everything else. It's like a domino effect. Spiritual sort of steadfastness is very important to your emotional well-being, your spirit, your mental, as well as your physical, and so on. So I love that. I mean, personally, I love health and wellness. So that's my area of being successfully single. Because when I feel great, I know I'll do great. So for me, that's a definite, a big one. It's a big priority for me. Yeah.
Wow. Siobhan, what is to be successfully single?
Well, for me, I feel to be successfully single is to see being single as a gift and a season. What I mean by that is to say, seasons of life happen for a reason. Things happen in summer, winter, spring, in preparation for the next season. And singleness is a part of your life, a process in your life where things are happening for a certain reason for the next season. And when you embrace that and say, God, in my state, I will just take it as a gift. Take this experience as it has to happen. And you take that perspective, I think you're being successful, as opposed to looking at it as a permanent state and saying, maybe it'll never change, and resorting to desperate times, call for desperate measures, and taking things into your own control or into your own hands. So I feel it's a time, and this is the right time for us to actually embrace that, because it's celebrating. You are alive for a reason, celebrate it. And while you're waiting for that special someone who God has ordained for you or is sending to you, just embrace that season as a gift.
Wow.
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna echo what they both said. It is like on point. You know, one of the things I think we need to firstly understand what is being single, because people think being single, oh my gosh, I'm this lonely person, because that's what they think. Singleness is not loneliness.
Yes.
You are in a set position. You are alone, but you're not alone. You know, and you are alone at that time. Alone. There are no people around you, but there is a God who's preparing you.
Alone with God.
Thank you for that.
I love that.
You know, alone with God. And now, you know, when you take it back to the Bible in the very beginning, before God created Eve, he knew that he would bring Eve in. But before, he needed to prepare this single man.
Wow.
And when he did things, he did them with him, because he was preparing him at that time. When Eve came, now that's when also God has put men to be leaders, because what he was teaching Adam, it was what Adam would pass to the next generation, beginning with his partner. So the when you talk about singleness, we need to come to a place to understand that it's a time for preparation, you know, for what God is going to do through your life. You know, and what she was saying, there are many things that you can also achieve when you're single. You know, it's not only, you know, people will be like, yeah, you know, when you're married, you can do, there's so many things that you can achieve and all that. But you know, marriage comes with a whole lot of responsibility. I love marriage. Marriage is a blessing. That's one thing I can tell you, because it's now two people coming together. It's a team. However, if you had not begun the journey of really equipping yourself when you are single, you're gonna struggle in marriage, because you're gonna be dependent to this person. You want somebody to think for you, because you never learn to think for yourself. You know, because when you come into marriage, you are bringing something to the table. You're not coming to just
take.
Exactly. You are coming to serve. You're serving each other. So I think we need to now review how we view singleness.
Sure. But ladies, I want you to realize that at the same time, we're living in this 21st century that is so hectic. You know, to be single, it's not as easy. And I'm saying that because I am married, and I thank God, because as you said, singleness is a gift. I also see marriage as a gift. Not everybody will be married. I mean, there are many people who are gone to heaven now, they're never married, you know, so not everybody. But it's a desire that God can also give, you know. You can ask for it, you know, because not all of us are planning not to be married, thank God. So I also see it as a gift. But now, you see, I've been with so many ladies that have said, I just want to rephrase it very well. If only I can get married, my life would be well. If only I can get married, all my problems will be solved. If I just get the man of my dreams, that's it. That's it. It's a solution, you know. And I want, with what I've just said, I want us to just discuss what does it mean to idolize marriage. Because if you've come or reached a place where you feel, if I just get the man of my dreams, I have it all. What does idolizing marriage look like? Violet, maybe you can speak to us.
Wow.
What does, because you see, idolizing, I feel like the Bible says, have no other God but me. You know, and when you idolize something, you give it a position of God, a position that only God can fulfill. I am married, ladies, but you know, my husband is not enough for me. I'm not enough for him. God is enough for us. Together we have him that makes everything look so complete and enough. You know, there are days that I cannot be that woman that maybe he wants in the moment, you know. So there are days where sometimes I just want a Hercules in a moment. Just pick me up. Just pick me up. And again, maybe pick me up. And he's not there to pick me up, you know. I don't know if I can ask God, just lift me up, you know. But you see, I understand, and it has a lot to do with emotional maturity and growth, to understand that he's not enough for me, and he's not going to be enough for me. There's what he can contribute to my life, and I'm there for something in his life. But God has a certain position that, I mean, it's only God that can heal the deep wounds of the heart. There are certain wounds I cannot fix in his life, cannot fix in my life. So what does idolizing marriage look like?
So I would say idolizing marriage is looking at marriage as a destination.
Can you repeat that?
I like that one. I like that one. I love it.
Looking at marriage as a destination. You, as a woman, let's just put it from a woman's perspective. The world tells you, when are you getting married? You go to a wedding, when is your wedding? So the world is putting pressure on you to really say marriage is the destination for some people, whereas it should be, what is it in terms of eternity? After marriage, what does that determine? How does that affect your eternity? Where are you going to after that? So saying I do is not the destination. It's not, you've not arrived when you say I do, you've arrived when you're both in eternity, and the generations after you that come from you end up in eternity. So it's seeing marriage as more than what God expects. It's only seeing it as when I get to I do, when I have the man of my life, but not looking at what does God want to bring out of that process in your life.
Wow.
I think just to echo what Violet said, it's like creating this pedestal, you know, this pedestal in your head that, you know, and once I get to this place of marriage, I have attained, I have achieved, I've made it, you know. And I love what Violet said, you know, because it creates another layer that we're all on a journey, you know, it's about eternity. At the end of the day, it's not like a place where, it's like people who desire to have children. That can be an idol in itself as well, or a career move or anything else. Just anything can really become an idol, you know. So I think it's just being cognizant of the fact that, you know what, there is more to come. God has promised us eternity, you know. And when you think like that, like, you know, Priscilla, you said earlier that, you know, your husband can't fulfill certain parts of your desires, whatever that is, emotionally, mentally, you know, and accepting that, wait a minute, this is, I'm part of a journey, it's not a destination. You know, there's more. I love what Violet said, there's more to it. You know, the story hasn't ended. And the story is only beginning. Imagine looking at it that way. Because sometimes you look at a journey, you're like, okay, I've arrived. Then you park off, and God is not able to use you, and God is not able to bring out those fruits, you know, that are supposed to come out of that.
Wow.
So you camp. You know, I've seen a lot of women that make the mistake of camping because now they've reached the destination, they take out everything, they're no longer, you know, reaching deeper into the things, you know what I mean? And even as a result, their spiritual sort of like growth actually stops, you become stagnant, you know, like a dam, you're just there, you're no longer flowing like a river, like, you know, I'm allowing God to use, and God can't use you when you idolize something, you know. I've actually realized that when we put something in the place of God, God is just, you know, the Holy Spirit also kind of like allows you to just kind of stand back, like, until you realize and get the revelation that actually I cannot replace that desire for marriage. It's supposed to just be a part of your journey, not a rival, you know. So I think that's just a lesson that a lot of us have to learn, you know, in the journey of singleness. And actually it's a journey of acceptance. I think that I think it's actually about acceptance, because when you get acceptance, then you get to a place where you're just like, you know what, God, actually you're enough, like it's okay whether you get married or you don't, you know. The circumstances become very like different. You live fully, you live openly, you're open to commandments from God, you have conviction, you know, about where you are. So that's what I think.
When we look at even in the society, a lot of things have been made, especially for example, young people. It's a challenge right now. They'll tell you an achievement is marrying a rich man, you know.
Come on.
And that is the level
That
they
is-
put, you know,
yes,
that is an
the
achievement,
ultimate.
you know. And you see on social media they're posting all this, but then when you actually get to learn what really goes into that relationship, there's so much sacrifice. You have to give yourself away to things you don't even know anything about. And now that is where we
Please
talk
go deep.
about so much spiritual you know, it's very deep, because it goes back to what you just said. It replaces God in a way. because idolizing, I can talk so much about idolizing, but more than that, there are spiritual attacks. And having, because when you talk to young people, sometimes we need to really go deeper than just saying, "Oh, guys, don't sleep around." No. We need to tell them, when you sleep with different people, you don't know what they have. You don't know what they carry, and little by little, your destiny is being attacked. It's being stolen from you. We don't talk about it that deep, and for me, it's much of a conviction because I work with young people. I know what young people go through. Sometimes it makes me, I would be up at night thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, this girl is going through this. This girl just told me this, and I'm thinking, how much is this going to really affect her destiny? So after all of that, now comes marriage, where it's being idolized, because now we're not only talking. It starts here where, okay, marrying a rich man is a big deal. Then now marriage, you need to get married and all that. But really, I was married before, and I got into marriage. I realized after I'm out that, man, no, Nikki, man.
I didn't really calculate.
No, I even apart from calculating, I realized that there's more than just there's more to marry than just I'm in love. There's so much,
Yes.
and you need to be prepared in many aspects. And okay, that's another topic for another day, but I'm just bringing it out there to say, I remember going back to conviction, because when you are single, you need to be very much at a point where you hear God clearly, because the conviction will be there. The night before my wedding, it was as if I don't know how to explain that. I don't know whether to call it an encounter or what, but something in me was like, no. But everybody's there.
Hey, dresses,
everything is prepared. I mean, hello.
Sure.
But I'm there and I'm like, okay, I remember telling my friend, your friend, I don't know, you are being nervous. This is how every bride feels. No. I was like, no, I understand. But this thing, I'm out. Because of what? There are certain things we need to really get to a place where we position ourselves well while we are single, so that even when you get into something, you have allowed God fully, during your single season, because there's so much that God wants to invest in us or to put in us, but God, you will tell me but it's not like that.
We just want to meet up with this first life.
Exactly.
We just want to arrive.
Exactly.
And I love that you're stressing the point of hearing God. If we can learn while we're still single to hear God, just to hear Him and obey that voice, it's settled. I mean, He'll see you through, even if in the moment when you hear Him, like, oh my God, look at this cake, oh my God, but that obedience, that settles the matter. And I called my mom last week, and she was actually laughing at me, but she understood me to a greater depth. I said, Mama, I'm just realizing now that when I decided to get married, I did not really understand deeply what marriage is about. Honestly, I didn't. Guys, this is my 7th year, and I'm only understanding the depth, and I feel like I'm just getting married, honestly, and I feel like there's so much hope and more genuine excitement of marriage, and I'm starting to look at my husband in a different manner, and I'm like, God, what about the last 7 years? Because in the last 7 years, I think I decided to get married more on, there's a man that I love so much that if I have to look around, this is the only man. and he's my best friend, and I need to keep him around. And if I have to keep him around, and I believe he's the man that I would want to serve and submit to whatsoever, and I want him to be the father of my kids, and the only way here is marriage. I realize it all calculated to marriage, because if we don't do this called marriage, any woman then will have him. But he was fleeting, guys. I'm telling you, best friend, check. The man that I look at his heart, oh my God, his heart was just something I wanted to get married to than any other thing. And I said, Lord, he's the one that meets it all. There was no other man. And I felt like if we had discussed it deeply, I would say, you're my best friend and my brother. Can we just say I do for this thing? 'Cause I don't want to let you go. But I still thank God after saying, I still didn't remember, I understand the depth of marriage. Remember, I'm in the concept of friendship and brethren, being brothers and sister and what companion. You know, I'm not really there in marriage, guys, I promise you. So we now married, and I'm still enjoying this as long as I'm with him. So even when we go through crisis and whatever, as long as we're going through it together, you know. So I still believe I was still in a safe place, but the marriage part of it, it's only now after 7 years. I still thank God, because I see it's His grace that I did not make a wrong choice. Because I don't doubt who I'm with. You know, even when we go through something, like I'm just like, who am I struggling with? Oh, it's him, good shot. You know, it's not this guy that I'm feeling like, go away. But now, I don't want to. I believe I did not get married for the wrong reason, because at the end of the day, I still want a best friend. I still want a best friend. I want to look at my husband that, in a way that if we go through something or he makes me mad, I can say, right now I don't like you as a husband, but because you're my brother, I'm gonna pray for you, and I'm gonna be my brother's keeper, something like that. I'm gonna go to a position of friendship. But the husband and wife one, I don't feel you right now. I don't feel you, but I'm not gonna quit this marriage because it has a foundation of friendship. I believe in that type of a foundation. But now, there could be a wrong reason of getting into marriage.
Exactly.
What are the wrong reasons? What are the wrong reasons of getting into marriage, Kabo?
I think for me, it's more like things like family pressure. You know, people really out there are having it very difficult. You know, they have certain situations where they've been compared either with siblings or, you know, which is an unfortunate situation. You know what I mean? Because every child in every home has a different journey, different destination, different timing. It's just a lot of things, you know. So I think family plays a huge role, you know, and societal pressures, of course. That is, for me, I've just seen it daily. You know, wherever you go, it's about, I said yes. You know, you personalize it and you say, when is my time coming? You fast track, you forget about the conviction that God has given you about your time. It's all about now, like, you know what, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I do get married. And now it becomes back to the idol that you created, you know. So I think for me, it's just like family, definitely. That's a huge, because the family impacts us, you know. They do. And also we have our own families that we've created, our friendship circles. You know, your friends now become your family, your sisters, you know. So indirectly or directly, you take it upon yourself and you say, well, Maggie got married. I'm going to make sure I'm going to make any brother my man, you know.
Any brother. When he comes, I see him.
And it can't be like that, because obviously we know you have to be equally yoked, even though you're born again, but you have to be equally yoked.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So there's more, there's another layer that forces you to actually, wait a minute, Lord, can I discern? Am I forcing? Am I, you know? So I think, yes, society, like we said, and I think another thing that it's more like our insecurities, you know. We start to really, they start eating away at us, because we sit there and we're like, well, I'm this age, biological clock. We start being logical. I think that's another, logical thinking makes you really marry for the right reason. Because now you're thinking, okay, freezing eggs, okay. Yes, I have to make sure that, you know, we forget about Sarah, you know, in the Bible. We forget about Abraham. You know, you forget about, wait a minute, God has given us references in the Bible of people that struggled, went through the same thing, you know what I mean? Rachel, Leah, like you start reading and really internalizing those women and men in the Bible that have actually gone through the same thing as you know? So I think it's really great for us to go back to what is the word saying? What parables are there? What stories in the Bible can help us to really get out of ourselves? You know, because you can really get stuck in there emotionally. It's a painful place, you know. And I love how God knows that the enemy is after your weak points, like you said, you know. After your weak points, in the sense that you've got that desperation, that desire to just want to be a mom, you know, a family of your own. You don't want to be in your apartment by yourself. You know, you're thinking, if I can just have someone to come home to, you know. So already it forces you to make, you know, incorrect decisions, you know.
Oh, I feel the power in this room. The power in this room. Sure. How do you see it?
You know,
Wrong reasons to get into the marriage.
I mean, she spoke about family pressure. I'm gonna speak about one thing right now, for now, which is something that I think has been really, for me, it's becoming very irritating.
Okay.
A couple, they're in love, okay, and then the girl falls pregnant. Automatically, your husband and wife to the family. You need to marry her. I don't understand. She's no longer the way. You didn't marry her. You slept with her. She's pregnant. Who's gonna marry her? So you're going to marry her.
Sure.
So all that already they've chosen for you.
Yeah.
And who said that is your life partner, or who God has actually ordained for you? Yes, you step together. You now have a child. But who said that is your life partner? So that on its own is messing up with our generation.
Yes.
And my concern is that it's gonna go from one generation to another until it's been addressed and really spoken about that.
Like platforms
Even
like this one.
even if you've slept together, you have a child, spend the rest of your life with, because a child shouldn't be the reason that you guys, because marriage is, guys, you become one. Are you gonna become one with somebody you're not supposed to become one with? Then you're not gonna be one. You'll just be two individuals trying to every time trying to be one. You know,
it out.
the thing that brings you together is the fact that, okay, you know, you now have a child. I respect people, the very people they judge who have kids and it never worked out and all that. I respect them for actually choosing to say it's not working out, we're not gonna force it. Because why? You find people now forcing to get married based on that. Families are on their case, you know, get married. This is your wife. I'm saying it, you know. But then the next thing, the marriage doesn't work. In fact, the kids are affected even more. Kids get affected even more, and you know what it does? Now
Another cycle.
Bitter kids, angry kids, and it's that kid, and that very boy tomorrow he's going to be a man, and he's gonna be a bitter man. That very girl is going to be a woman tomorrow, and will be a bitter woman. What's gonna happen?
Wow.
Sure.
So
yeah.
It's deep. I think to add on would be, and I'll use a very practical example, the fear of dying alone. With COVID, I'm just giving that example, last 2020, maybe single people found themselves locked up in their homes and thought, if I die in this apartment, who's going to know? And you know, things like that make you and think, but if I was married, you know, if I was married.
Wow.
Psychologically, you would think like that, and then you start really marinating on it and be like, but why, and you sink into this hole just from that simple fact that I don't want to die alone. I would say another thing would be, because we've been together for so long, we've dated, it makes sense for us to just get married. We get along, we talk well, we smile, we have fun together, it makes sense. We're ticking boxes, our families know each other, we should just get married. So these are things that we are dealing with as this generation, but at the end of the day, you need to choose, but based on what God has chosen for you, not based on circumstances and what makes sense logically.
The ladies have spoken, but I want you to know that being single, does not mean that you're second class or second best. You see, singleness is more about finding yourself, loving yourself, valuing yourself, and placing a high estimation on yourself. Well, that is from me and the ladies. I hope you had a great time. And remember, you were made to walk, talk, and see just like God.
Level up.